Hello and welcome. Now today we're getting on with the Peugeot Boxer camper van conversion. A lot of the materials have started to arrive here. Got all the insulation here, we've got some of the electrical components over there. We've got a leisure battery, a hob, the sink. It's all coming together. Some of the things that we're going to do today, on this side I have the solar panel ready. I have some of this Kingspan material for the floor insulation, and we have this material here for the subfloor itself. But to begin with, what we're going to do today is put this extractor fan in the van, and I've got everything I need to do that here. I think we've got the fan itself, we've got some of this mastic putty sort of stuff to fill the voids on the top of the van. We've got a Sikaflex 522, we've got a jigsaw, and we got a piece of wood. Now, first thing we want to do is make a frame for this. The frame goes on the inside, and then we'll screw through these holes here, into the wooden frame below. So the fan itself is 28 centimeters. So I'm going to give that a little bit of air, and I'm going to make that 28.5. Now, if that is 28.5, the other two pieces want to be 28.5 plus twice the depth of this in order to make the square internal frame, so to speak. We have our two at 28.5, and these worked out at 35.4, I think it was. Now, to do this, I'm just going to drill through these, put some glue on, and put a screw through, and that will make an acceptable frame for that. Okay, so that's just a little bit of glue on either of these. Put that on there, and then we'll put a screw through that whole thing. Same all the way around. Okay, so there is our frame, and that will fit over the fan very nicely, right up to the edges. So pleased with that. Next thing we want to do is get outside and start marking this up on the van. Okay, so inside the van, I'm going to put the fan somewhere on this panel on the roof, and we know that this is the central sort of valley on this. Well, a valley this side, it would be a ridge on the other side. So I'm going to mark the very center of this. Then I'd like the fan to sit on this piece here, which is flat, and we'll fill up any further voids that need filling with that cellulose putty. But first of all, we want the center of this, and then we want to put the frame on, and I'll hold that up with this prop. Okay, so we've got both the poles in. We can simply draw around that. Now we can take this back out, drill the pilot holes in the corner, and then cut this out from the roof. Alrighty, so I've got my ladders, and I've also got a sponge and a towel, because I think it's going to be a little bit damp up there, just from the morning dew. The sun's not really up enough to burn that off as yet. And yes, indeed, we do have water on the roof. So I'm going to dry all of that up first before we do anything else. Okay, so having dried that off, next thing we want to do is transfer our lines from the inside, from our pilot holes, onto the outside. Looking good. So, jigsaw. Okay, so we've got a hole marked, we've got a jigsaw with a fresh blade. All is looking well, so I'm going to cut this out. There we have the hole. Now I'm going to get the fan, make sure it fits, and then we'll clean all of this up. You want to get all of this stuff off here. I find the sponge, damp sponge, is best for that. It'll pick it up. Okay, we've got a nice tight fit there all the way around. Hinges to the back obviously here, so it opens up this way. That's looking good, pleased with that. So what we're going to do is just do a final clean up around here. I'll deburr this, put a little bit of hammerite on it, and then we'll get stuck into this, putting this on. Okay, so at this point I believe we're ready to go. I have put the wooden frame back in and held it up with the props. And the first thing we want to do is start putting some of this mastic strip on here. We've got some raised edges here, so I'll fill those in first, and then I'll see if I can get a level. This back line will want filling as well. Then we'll get a level surface on there and stick it on. Look good. Now, belt and braces with this, we are also going to put a line of this Sikaflex right the way around here. As I say, hinges to the front of the van. That is good. Okay, now with this we have some holes already in the plastic. I will drill out these other ones as well and put screws all the way around that. And the screws will go straight through here, through the roof and into the wooden batten below. They're there first, so we just want a pilot hole through that. And I just have some of these 30mm wood screws which will go through there and into the wood below. Okay, and just to finish them off, a little bit of water on the finger and we will smooth them down. Okay, happy with that. Fan is in place, absolutely sealed all the way around, and that should be fine. Now, next thing is our solar panel. So I'm going to leave most of this stuff up here and start getting some dimensions and measurements for where we're going to put this panel. Okay, this is an eco-worthy or eco-worthy solar panel. It is 120 watts and it's got the measurements on it there, but I'm going to measure it anyhow just to make sure. 67 centimeters, and its length is 96 centimeters. It's these here, are these more than 67 wide? Oh, it doesn't look like it. If we put that on there and that on there, we are 64. So we're going to have to put this lengthways. So I'll put some of the brackets here, and 68 is going to have to be further down. I want to miss these, you see, because I'm going to bolt the solar panel through the roof, or the brackets for it through the roof, and we don't want to hit these. So we want a clear space here, 68 centimeters. Okay, so what I've done is I've come down 50 from the line of the fan there to this mark here, and then we've done the 67 out to here, and that gives us enough room. When we put the brackets on here, we're going to hit the ceiling, we're not going to hit these ribs, and that's what I'm after. Alrighty, so for our initial positioning, we're coming from the fan 50, and then from the fan we are going 67. The panel is going to fit this way, this would be the width of it, and the length of it is going that way. So what we're going to do is get the brackets up here and start positioning them. Okay, so the placement for the first of these brackets, what we've got, and we know that the panel itself is 96 wide, so from the centre that wants to be 48. So if we place that there, 48, looking good. So I'm going to mark that with this marker pen. That is going to sit there. So I'm going to fix these two on first. I'm just going to drill a hole through this, bolt it to the ceiling and secure it down with a little bit of Sikaflex as well. So to get this first one on, we will put it back in line with the marks on the roof, put a pilot hole through. Alrighty, and again, just clean that up, get any of the shards of metal off. Now I can put a little bit of Sikaflex on this side. bolt will go through there, and that will push into position. Good, that's that one. Now we're going to do the same with this other one opposite, and then we'll mark out the width of the thing this way. Okay, so we have the panel up on the roof here. I'll get up alongside it, and with a bit of luck it's going to fit in those brackets. And what do you know, it does. Excellent. Right, we want a few soft tappers in here to just hold that onto the brackets, and then we'll look at putting the gland over in this side here, because the electrics are going to be down that side of the van to put it, and none of these are wide enough to put it either. So we're going to have to straddle a couple of these, and we're going to have to build this up here and at the back of it with some of our mastic putty sort of thing. But first of all, before doing that, I'm going to mark a hole and drill the hole through for the cables, and I'm going to say that's going to be about there. Now we have a stepped bit and a grommet, and that tells me that probably wants to be about 18. So I'll take that down to 18, see if the grommet fits nicely. That is going to go in there just fine. That's it. And again, we've got another bit of a clean up here. There's always a lot of this stuff, and it's always a good idea to keep a damp cloth or something to try to pick this up and get it out of the way. So we've got the majority of that out of the way. Now, the next thing that we want to do is start building up with this mastic putty, or whatever it's called. And that will go there like that. Right, so I'm just going to build a few strips of this up. So that's built up, and that will take that box nicely on there. So our next task is to try to fish out the wires from this and connect them up and feed these wires through the grommet. So I'll see if I can fish them out. Okay, they are fished out. Now these are marked positive and negative. This one has got a negative mark on it, so I will connect it to this cable. And there it is, and the other one has disappeared again. I see it. There it is. So this one has indeed got a plus on it. So that one will connect there. Good. Now, a couple of things we want to do. I want to straighten out these wires first. And then I'm going to clip tie them to the side here, and then we'll get them through the hole. Okay, so with them clipped in and all good, next thing to do is just whack the other end plugs off this, because it won't be plugging into anything. These wires will just be fixing straight into the solar controller. And now we want to get them as unravelled as possible. And then we want to get them through this hole. Okay, so now we want some Sikaflex around this thing. Stick it on there. I'll put it on with a little bit of tape as well, just to keep it nice and strong. Right. Oh, hi man, another package. Excellent, if you don't mind, yeah. Thank you very much. Cheers, man. I was just another delivery. The backyard really is filling up with this stuff. That will do it. Now, as I say, I'm just going to put a piece of tape over the top of this just until the Sikaflex has set properly. and let's just keep a little bit of pressure on there until the whole thing dries. Okay, that's about it, folks. Okay, that's 2 good jobs done. Got the fan in, got the solar on. This is good. Now I'm going to tidy up a little bit here in the workshop because there's stuff all over the place, and then we will contemplate the next phase of this. And in the meantime, a little cup of coffee, I think. Workshop's looking a little bit more square again. It just always gets loads of stuff left all over the place whilst doing a particular job, and I find it best to get all of that started before we start a different type of job altogether. Now, just whilst I was doing that, I came across the sound deadening material which arrived the other day, and this is very simple to put on, so I think I'll do this now and then we'll contemplate putting the floor down, or the insulation for the floor. And as ever with the sound deadening, we don't want a lot of this on. I'll just put one piece of this on either major panel, and that should be sufficient. I mean, obviously this is going to get insulation on it as well, and that will be stuck to the panel, so hopefully that will give us a nice silent van. This does chatter a bit, this van. I think it's the back doors, and I think that's quite a common thing with the Boxer and the sitting relay and things like that. The back doors do chatter a little, so I'll get them sorted out as we go. No great hurry for that one. Okay, sound deadening on all the way around. Put some on the ceiling too. So the very next thing is the floor. Now I'm going to put some Kingspan down on this, some of the rigid insulation board, and to do that what I want to do first of all is put some battens down, and the battens have to be in the right place so that the board will join properly and have something to screw to. So there's a little bit of calculation measurement involved in this, and that's what we're going to get onto right now. Okay, so to put the floor down and the battens for the floor, I've got some of these Slater's battens here. They will do the job for that. I'm just going to put these on with CT1, is it? Adhesive, construction adhesive, and that will hold them fine. But first of all, I'm just going to give this another sweep, just make sure we're absolutely clean under here before we start putting these battens down. Okay, so to figure out where these battens go, we know that the sheet material is 1.22 meters wide, and we want the batten to sit so that the sheet will sit halfway on it. That's the furthest one out. The idea here is the main piece of the floor will be done with one sheet, and then I'll put a strip down the far side and another piece in the back. So first things first, we want to know how far we want to take this floor, and I'm saying I'm going to start it right on the lip of the van. Then what we'll do is measure in 122 over there, put another batten down, and then put some more in between at 40 centres possibly. So first of all, let's get a batten down here to start with. So we want a measurement from here to the wheel arch, and that is 176. So I'm going to cut a piece at 176 and we'll get started with that. Alrighty, we have the first batten cut, which will sit in there nicely. What I'm going to do is put some of this up this side of it. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put it on the ridges here. Should be fine. There it is. Good. Square it up. Alrighty, now I'm going to do the far one first. So I'm going to measure from the one I've just put in, from the very edge of where the board is going to sit, and that is 122 to there, and that tells us that it is this line here that the next one of these wants to sit on. Right the way down here. Now I'm going to use a full length batten here because there's nothing obstructing it or in its way. So we're from the centre of that to the edge of the door, 122. That's very good. So I'm just going to let that sit there for a while. I'm going to measure in another centre here to 40, which is this one here. So I'm going to do the same again. I'll put the adhesive up there and whack the batten on. Okay, and with that one on, we want another 40 from the centre, and that is going to be that one. So this is the job. We're going to do this right the way the full length of the van, and then we'll start putting some cross struts in here as well. Okay, with those down, the next task is to put some cross members or noggins in there, and I think I'll do them at 120 centres. The board itself is 444, so I'll put a line across the top, then I'll put another line 1.20 meters down, and then we'll see what we've got left for the bottom here. 1.20 meters should be fine. There's going to be plenty of support here for the 11mm OSB. So I'll just take these one by one, and that first one in between there is 39.4. So 39.4. Okay, got all these down, got the cross members on, and here we've got from the bulkhead to the middle of this one here is 244. So we should be able to secure our sheet to that, but right now we need to let this dry. So that's it for today. It's been a good day actually. Got that fan in, got the solar panel on, and we're well started with insulating the floor. So this is coming along very nicely, very pleased with it. And next time we're going to get this floor actually insulated, and then we'll get onto the subfloor, and then I suppose the panelling on the walls would be next. Anyhow, if you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see the whole series, how this Peugeot Boxer van conversion turns out in the end, do consider subscribing to the channel, and in the meantime I thank you very much for watching.